What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Brandon Gio.
And your boy, Jamichael Moore.
And we are the Residual Impact Podcast. Welcome, everybody, to episode 1, a.k.a. What's Cappening Now? We're finally here. We are finally here. Like, it's taken us how long to get to this point?
Today or just in general?
Just in general, actually.
Man, in general, we're looking at some months. About 3, 4?
Probably even longer. Like, I could have sworn we talked about this initially back in January as to just thinking of starting a podcast.
Most definitely.
And I don't know what took us so long to get here. I mean, I know it was doing my YouTube thing, but when I had you on a Motivating Monday episode, we talked about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of like when it was like real to us, where it was just like, yo, it was actually fun collaborating in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Speaking about something motivational. And then it just hit us. Like, that episode was entitled Impact Over Income. And then that kind of helped us get the name Residual Impact.
Man.
But what were we going to call it first? What was the name that we initially came up with?
Gosh.
You remember?
I don't. What was it? Because we came up with like so many different variations of it. And then I just remember clicking with Residual Impact. Whoa. I can't remember what the name was going to be.
Now, I remember one time you wanted to use our names.
Oh, yeah, the Be More. It was going to be Be More. The Be More Podcast, which I still think is kind of hard. But I do, yes, that was going to be the original name of it. But then Residual Impact came in and took over.
Yeah, it did.
That's dope.
It did, because I love residual income, right? But I also love impacting lives. And we both know, you and I both know that, we definitely have to impact before we get to the income. You can't get to the income without being impactful.
Most definitely.
Especially in our line of work. We are entrepreneurs. We are people who definitely put others before ourselves, because that's just the type of people that we are.
Most definitely.
We're not just out here doing everything that we can to get money, even though we kind of are, but we're doing it ethically and, of course, with integrity. And we have to make sure that along those lines, we do what's necessary to reach out to the people, especially the people who we want to see succeed.
Most
so
definitely.
We got to impact those lives first before we can ever see a stitch of income. And that's all right with me.
Yeah, same here for me.
I
think it's important to show people the value that we have first, and then we give that value out, and in return, that value will come back to us in many different forms. Might not even be just monetary. It could be in so many different ways, whether it be love, whether it be more knowledge, anything. It's gonna come back.
It's definitely gonna come.
I love that.
And the best thing about it is I can't really wait for the fact of like just having somebody run up to us in the streets and be like, yo, your podcast is so dope, man. You guys have done so much to change my life. I've been listening to y'all since the beginning, stuff like that. Just to know that what we say, what we do, everything that we've been working on thus far to impact other people's lives is definitely doing just that.
Love it.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's dope.
For those of you guys who don't really know us, I know a lot of people are tuning in who know us, friends and family, but for those of y'all who don't really know us, my name is Brandon. I go by Brandon Gio, and for those of y'all who don't know, I do have 2 last names thanks to my parents. So Gio is just kind of like a nickname I came up with because it's my 2 last initials. I don't want to get into all that. If y'all don't know me, but maybe you'll read about me in my autobiography one day, and you'll get to see both last names. But
I didn't know that till you just said that about the
For
2
real?
last names.
I never told you?
I never even thought about that.
Wow.
Dang. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's unique.
Yeah. I was thinking about dropping my second last name years ago, but I remember I used to work for a bank, and this gentleman came up to my counter and he saw my name tag with my full name on my at my teller window, and he said, "Man, that's a unique name. Like, it looks like you come from money, or it sounds like if you say it out loud all together, it sounds like you come from money. Like you're very established." I'm like, yo, I like that. Like, that's awesome. Nobody's ever said that to me. And I think that was, my 25 years of life at the time? 24, 25 years of life. But I just I was like, I'm gonna keep the last name, and yeah, let's get it popping.
That's dope. That's dope. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, B.
I don't really know what else there is to say other than I'm a YouTuber, I'm an entrepreneur. I've always been an advocate of owning your own business. There's nothing wrong with working for somebody else, but me personally, I don't think that I can. I don't feel that I can because I really don't want somebody having to tell me when I can go to the bathroom or when I can go ahead and take a lunch break. I would much rather do all of that on my own and make my own money and like, hey, I'm hungry now. Let me go ahead and stop what it is that I'm doing. Let me go ahead and go to lunch or let me get up and go to the bathroom and not have to ask permission. But then again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with a job. If that's something that you have to do or want to do, kudos to you. It's just not in my DNA.
That's real.
But, I'm a heavy advocate for ownership, owning your own company, owning your own business, owning your own platforms. That's why I think this is something that definitely came as a no-brainer.
Yes.
When we first started speaking about it, it was like, yo, let's start our own podcast. Like, we listen to other people's podcasts. Let's start our own.
Let's do it.
But, yo, enough about me, man. I could talk all day. Tell us a little bit about yourself, brother.
What's going on for everyone that don't know me? My name is Jamichael, and I'm many things. So I'm a husband. I'm a mentor. I would just say I'm just now getting into the entrepreneurial game, but I'm also one who I love entrepreneurship. To me, that's something that I really begin to. I would say I found that that's how you can really get to your worth. Because I learned that, like I said, there's nothing wrong with a job. I still have a job. But when I realized, when I realized that a job can never pay me what I'm worth, when that really like clicked for me, and I realized I had to create my own worth, and that's like because I would get raises and promotions every year,
right,
and it would never be enough. I would always want more, and then when I finally I invested into myself, and I took a chance on myself. And then when somebody asked me, well, hey, how much do you charge? And I had to think to myself, well, this is actually what I feel like I'm worth. And I put it on there and they paid me for it. It just clicked.
Boy.
That was it for me. So when it came down to that, that's what took off for me as far as becoming an entrepreneur. And then other than that, I love to mentor. I love to speak. I love to encourage. My passion is to uplift people. I think I have a gift in that. And truly, I just feel like I have a gift, man. I want to give out to the world. So
there you go.
When it came to this podcast, I think this is an opportunity for me to do so.
And that's amazing, especially the part where you said being paid what you're worth.
Yes.
Because here's something that a lot of people don't really think about. And it's funny. I brought this up on a conference call with myself and a group of other entrepreneurs, right? Anytime you go to apply for a job and you fill out on the application, like your info, your name, your address, whatever your skills, stuff like that, you get to a section on the application that says desired pay. Mm-hmm. Why is it that nobody ever puts what we really desire to be paid in that field?
Because they know they ain't gonna get that.
Exactly. We always put what we think the company is willing to pay us.
Yeah.
I mean, my desired pay since I started working at 16, I mean, I wanted to be paid like $100 an hour. And that was at 16. And I know no company was going to pay me $100 an hour, especially at my first job. I worked fast food. They definitely weren't going to pay me $100 an hour. But when you're your own boss, like you said, you can charge what you want.
Yes, sir.
Especially if the job that you're doing, whether it's product-based or service-based, if it's worth it, if people see the value in what it is that you do, they're going to pay you for it.
Yes, sir. That's real.
That's amazing.
Man, that is. And it was funny because for me, it was like dope. This is where like I learned basically from working jobs so many years. I literally just took the things that I learned from my job and I just applied them to my own business.
Right.
Like so many years we work for these businesses and we get really good at them. Just take the things that they've given you and use it on your own. And then if you do good business, I literally took the same clientele that I would get from these jobs and I put it on my own business, and I already had my own like clientele built up from just years of working from these companies. So it's like if you just learn and get creative and use your own talents that you have, something's in you that you can do or you've learned how to do and you can do on your own, man, you can literally start something and begin to get paid at least as a side hustle or something for yourself.
That's the truth, man. That is definitely the truth.
I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth it. Next topic, though. We can go about entrepreneurship all day, y'all.
All day, brother.
That's gonna be its own episode, y'all.
Yo, and I can't wait for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I could definitely go all day talking about this. But yo, speaking of topics, man, like what's going on with these haircuts, man? You know my situation last month. It took a while for me to get a haircut, mainly because of pricing at the moment, man. Like, haircuts have been getting so expensive lately.
Yes.
And I know you just got one. You looking mighty fresh today, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know?
I try.
You looking mighty fresh. Listen, it's been, a week and a half, maybe almost 2 weeks for me. I know I need a lineup, but yeah. I mean,
prior to this, for me, it was like going on close to a month. And that's a long time for me.
It is.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say that the last time for me, before I got my haircut, was actually over a month. Ooh. And I know the longest time I've ever gone was 5 months.
What did he say?
The longest time I've ever gone was 5 months. Bruh. And that was when we were quarantined last year. When everything shut down. I went from February or I think it might have been the beginning of March, to sometime in the summer, maybe like August or September, to get a cut, because we were just stuck in the house.
That's tough.
I wasn't going anywhere. I was working from home at the time.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like, why worry about, going out and spending money on a haircut when I don't know what's going on with people getting sick, other than what we all saw in the news, right? We know about the pandemic. We know what was happening last year, but it's like we didn't know too much about it versus what we know now. Right. So, yeah, 5 months was the longest I went.
You better than me, though. I did not wait 5 months. I looked online. I saw this kit, and I started to learn myself. Now, did I do good? No. But I tried, though. I just tried. And for a little bit, I just started cutting my own hair.
Right.
And you could tell. You could tell I was cutting my hair. Much respect. Matter of fact, big shout out to all the barbers out there.
For real.
That is a skill. That is not nothing to play with, because I tried on my own and it is not easy. But yeah, I tried to cut my hair on my own for, I guess you could say, I did it for about 5-6 months or so myself.
I used to cut my own hair before I started rocking a fade. I used to cut my own hair when I had the baldy. Like, I used to rock a baldy years ago. Sometimes I would give myself a Caesar cut, but there would be sometimes, I would mess up while giving myself a Caesar, and I'm like, what? Gotta shave it off. And I shaved it all off, and I really rocked a baldy and a beard for like maybe a year or two. I mean, it was smooth, like people liked it, but I didn't really care too much for it. I just did it just because. Yeah. And that was when I was cutting my own hair, and I didn't have to worry too much about lining myself up and looking at a mirror while holding another mirror, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's the scariest part, though. That's the one thing I had to get over, the fear of, like, you're scared to mess up, because you feel like if you mess up, see, I wasn't going bald. I couldn't do that. If I mess up, it was like, shoot, we gotta correct this somehow. Like, that was always my fear, though. But over time, as I did get a little better, but still, it was never to that point of my barber. Never.
Yeah, I have so much respect for barbers, because, I mean, it's like I've been going to the barber shop since I was a kid. I remember I used to go with my grandfather every other Saturday. He would take me to get a haircut, and he would get one with me. And,
How much was it back then?
Boy, well, I was a kid, and my grandfather used to pay for it. So, I mean, if anything, it was less than $10. It was less than $10. Because let's see. He passed away when I was 15. So we had been going to get a haircut since I was a child, right? So I would say back then, um, haircuts for kids from, I guess, the young age up to 12 were less than $10.
Yeah.
And kids 12 and older, probably about $12,
Yep.
maybe 15 max,
Yep.
but after tip, but $12, I think.
Yeah, that's about normal. I think when I started, it was around $8. I remember we was young. I mean, I wasn't paying it, but
Right.
I remember it was like $8 for me. $8. Think about that. We fast forward today. We fast forward today. That's not including the tip. So we fast forward today. We talking. I mean, on average, we're paying $30 and up.
Yeah.
And up.
And up. The most expensive cut I had, I remember when I was in college, shout out to Georgia State, I went to GSU's homecoming with my girlfriend at the time, and I needed a haircut badly. Mm. So we were in downtown Atlanta, and I needed something quick for homecoming, and it was like upwards of, I think for my hair and my beard, it was like $30 before tip.
Was it worth it? That's the question.
It was worth it, but dang.
That is tough.
For a college student?
Okay. That's okay. Now you changing the whole game, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a college student,
that $30 hit different, I bet.
It hit, it hit hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was working retail back then, I didn't really have it, but I needed to get fresh for homecoming weekend, and I don't know why I did not get a haircut in Gwinnett. I had to wait till I got to Fulton County to get a haircut.
That's tough.
Where it was more expensive.
That's tough.
So
was that the most to date that you've ever paid for a haircut?
Yeah, so far.
That was most?
That was the most.
That's tough. I think the most for me so far is up to date is $100.
Oh
my God. It's $100 I paid. But I paid for his services to come to me. So I put that into consideration of the haircut. That's very priced. At the end of the day, when after I got the haircut, I think about it, I was like, oh, most definitely. I was like, man, I just paid that. But I guess I had it at the time, B. So I'm grateful for that.
Of course.
But yeah, it's crazy, to think back to when haircuts was $8 to made up to $100.
And the worst part about it is like when I was telling you in college, that one haircut cost me upwards of $30 before tip. There was a barbershop here in Gwinnett County that would just be like, they would just give $10 haircuts every single Wednesday, no matter your age.
That's nice.
No matter, didn't matter how old you were, they had $10 cut Wednesdays. I guess that was when they got their most business, because everybody would just go in for the $10 cuts, and I would always do it. Think about it. College student, working retail, $10 cuts was amazing.
What?
Amazing. And then I would just end up tipping like $5, $15 max, for everything. And then having to do what I did at homecoming and spending what I spent as a college student, it just hit my pockets.
That hurt.
But now it's like, now I can afford something like that, and I don't have to really worry about it hurting me too much. But I don't really get anything fancy done when I go get a cut. Just fade it up and trim my beard. That's it.
So do you think it's fair that the haircuts have gotten to this point, or do you think that it's right because of inflation, or because even though you said you're getting the same haircut you was getting as a kid, I mean, what is it?
From a business standpoint, I would say that it's fair because of inflation.
Yeah.
The price of everything is going up, man. You think about it, like gas goes up often, price of food goes up because gas goes up, and because of that, rent goes up. Yep. Especially rent in these barbershops, they have to pay for their space.
Big facts.
So because they have to pay so much more with rent, they have to charge so much more for haircuts to cover that rent.
Respect.
So, I could understand it, but from a a non-business standpoint, it's like, dang, can y'all cut a brother some slack? Can y'all have a $15 Wednesday or something? Like,
that's
or any day, just like, haircuts today only are gonna be $20, beard included. Like, that'll be lit.
That's tough.
You know what I mean?
I do agree with you on that. I think I understand the same from a business standpoint. Yes, it makes sense. It should happen. It's like a balance almost.
Yeah.
But from somebody who used to get the same haircut as a kid to an adult, it's like, come on, bro. I can understand. I might have gotten a beard a little bit, but dang. But yes, I agree with you on that one, B.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, it's just nowadays, it's just the cost of getting fresh is just crazy. Now, I know we're gentlemen, we're men. We don't know the fullest extent of what the women go through, but I'm sure any women listening are probably thinking like, yo, $30+ or $100 for a cut, man, that's nothing.
They're probably like, that's nothing, yeah.
Right, compared to what they spend on their hair.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand, you know. How much does your wife spend on her hair? Do you know?
If I had to make a guess, from what she probably tell me and what she actually paid, probably two different things. But she's paying like at least upwards, man, 70 and up. If I had to take a guess.
Seriously.
Yeah, but that's not even including, you know, let's say if sometimes she wanted to get hair, you know, buy hair or something like that too, or just getting her hair done, let it be like pressed and different things. See, I don't know, it ranges. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she doesn't pay anything below $70 and up. So because when I tell her about my haircut, like, yo, how much cost? She like, oh, okay, all right. That's cute.
Yeah, you're right. That's cute. Well, I'm not married, so I don't have that experience of knowing, you know, what exactly a woman goes through with her hair. Hey, more power to y'all, right, ladies? More power to y'all, definitely. But you and I, Mike, we both know the cost of getting fresh is ridiculous right now.
Most definitely, it is.
You know, from a man's perspective, or even on the women's side of things. But yo, speaking of fresh,
yes, sir.
Have you been hearing what's going on this past week with Fresh and Fit?
Very briefly, I have. What you heard, B?
All right, so for those of you guys who don't know, Fresh and Fit are a couple of dudes that are based out of Miami, Florida. They have a dope podcast where they help men navigate their personal lives and their dating lives, right? So, you know, I've been subscribed to Fresh and Fit since, like, I think the beginning of this year. I've been listening to their podcast on Apple Podcasts, and I've been watching a lot of their videos on YouTube. Very entertaining, right? You know, I have respect for those brothers for what they do. However, what's been going on lately is that they were called out by a larger YouTube channel, Abba and Preach, who I've been subscribed to since sometime last year. Like, I've been watching Abba and Preach for a while, right? Abba and Preach have been on Fresh and Fit's podcast, I would say probably about twice this year, maybe. And what happened was last weekend, Abba and Preach made a video about a topic that Fresh and Fit were discussing with Abba and Preach when Abba and Preach were on their channel a couple months ago, right? When they were on their platform a couple months ago, and they were talking about a few different things, right? One of which was paying to smash, right? Paying women to smash. And I know a lot of times, or for the most part, Fresh and Fit don't really agree with paying to smash women. But all in all, I mean, it's just like Abba and Preach kind of called them out for capping. You know what I'm saying? They definitely called them out for capping on a lot of the things that they speak about, but they don't necessarily live. So, I mean, it just over the last week, it's just been a whole situation of Abba and Preach making a series of videos after Fresh and Fit initially clapped back. Now, the way that they clapped back was just, it was uncalled for, right? It was very emotional, very, like, I don't even know what to say, but I'm going to try to see if I can pull up this clip here without getting flagged or getting demonetized real quick. So bear with me. Anything you want to touch on real quick while I load this up?
Well, I mean, as far as the topic goes, I'll stay on topic with that. From what I was briefed on, to me, the whole thing seems very, very interesting, I will say, none the least. And I did see this clip, I believe, that you're about to pull up. And to me, that just that was a little interesting, I will say, for them to respond in the way that they did.
Right.
Speaking of Fresh and Fit, that's what I'm talking about. Just the way that they responded. And to me, if anyone, it's kind of like if you're not guilty of anything, it's like almost like, hey, you don't really want to respond. You wouldn't respond in that way, in my opinion.
Correct.
It's like you wouldn't give that amount of energy or attention to. So it just, to me, that was just I found that a little interesting. But hey, I don't know. I don't know too much about it. This is all news to me as well. But hey, did you get it up, B?
Hey, I got it. Here's a listen from one of Abba and Preacher's videos, and you can kind of hear how Fresh and Fit responded in this situation. I hope it's not too loud. We are working out the audio situation here.
Today's topic, all right, seems like the guys from Fresh and Fit are really upset.
We are better than you niggas, period.
People want to know our thoughts. I'm going to keep it really brief, right? I don't have much thoughts on their platform. Are they doing some good things for some people? I'm sure. I have no doubt. I'm not even denigrating that. We just came at them for their ideas in regards to paying for box and all this stuff. Thought it was full of shit.
I'm like, yo, relax, niggas, don't pay for box.
Even more, what I find really distasteful is you come to find out that Myron Gaines himself, right, the so-called pickup artist, the master, has his own seeking arrangements account, his own profile, all right? This is on the web. You can find it. This man's out here talking about don't pay for box, don't pay for box. He's on a website for sugar daddies and sugar babies. Okay. All right. You want to be a giant hypocrite? Do your thing, okay? Then you come to find out this man's talking about, listen, we want burning desire from ladies. Ain't that what they say? Right? You want to get their best, so you got to earn it.
So that was just the tip of the iceberg, right? That was definitely the tip of the iceberg from initially when Abba and Preach made a video about Fresh and Fit, just critiquing the episode or the last podcast episode that they were featured on. And of course, Abba and Preach, they have a channel to where they actually critique other videos. Like they do video responses, right? So they did one to a Fresh and Fit episode that they were featured on, right? But for Fresh and Fit to respond the way that they did, man, it was definitely uncalled for. And like you said, if you're not guilty, you're not going to respond like that.
Yeah. Just seemed a little off in my opinion, or just something that it didn't need that much attention to. You would have been,
right.
You would almost dismissed it if it was like, oh man, I'm not even about to mess with that. But it was like, he got a little loud. He got a little loud.
Yeah. And the crazy part about it is because he got a little loud, right? There were some words that were said, definite exchanges regarding, Myron, a.k.a. Fit. He was calling out Preach's wife. He talking about how he said that Preach was probably married to a beluga whale, and Preach was furious.
Uncalled for.
It was very uncalled for, man. That's very unprofessional. And if these gentlemen are critiquing your work, let's talk about the work. Don't bring anybody else into it, right?
Yeah.
If you and I, God forbid, I don't think this is ever going to happen, but if you and I were to ever have a dispute about anything, right? Because we're human. Stuff happens. I would never bring your wife into it unless she was involved in the initial dispute.
Right.
Now, if it's just an issue between the two of us, it's just between the two of us, and that's it.
Right.
I'm not bringing your wife into it.
Right.
Because those are fighting words.
Nah, honestly. And I think that also just speaks to, like, maturity.
Right.
I think it's just, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're mature enough and you have conversations, I mean, just have a conversation. It's like when you try to bring in things to, like, it's almost like hurt people.
Right.
That's to me, that's what it, like, boils down to. It's like, man, you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. I'm going to hurt you with something
I'm going to hurt you worse.
Exactly. And it's like, why at that point?
It's unnecessary and it's uncalled for.
Yes.
And it's crazy that you bring that up because Abba and Preach had receipts, man. Like, they really had receipts on Fresh and Fit and how they operating out here in these YouTube streets. Namely regarding a DM that Myron sent to a young lady who Abba and Preach did not name drop, right? They didn't name drop this woman. However, this whole situation started last Saturday, right? A week plus. A few days ago, the young lady whose DM was actually shown on Abba and Preach's channel, she came out and spoke her piece. and her name is Anna Quinn. So Anna Quinn came out and spoke her piece, and I was just shocked. Like, I had no idea that, these dudes acted the way that they did, man. Let me see if I can pull up her audio. But Anna Quinn has a video on YouTube that she uploaded a couple days ago, right? It has 45,000 views. And she titled it, Lies Exposed, Fresh and Fit Are Frauds, right? So here's a little bit of her audio.
Quinn, I just wanted to take a minute to make a quick video about the whole Fresh and Fit situation, just give you guys an update. And also, I never really made a video to explain what happened and share the truth and the facts on my own page. So I want to make this quick. I want to make it clear so you have all the evidence in front of you. And I just want to share what's going on because this is someone who claims to be a male self-improvement podcast, the top, the best, and they have over 400,000 subscribers on YouTube, which I didn't know until I looked into. And they are creating a culture of hateful, mean, I'm not going to continue commenting, but just they're creating a disgusting culture of men who treat women like crap. And so I'm taking a stand and I'm sharing because I can. So what happened, I will be providing evidence. Let me scooch over so when I edit it, it can be here. Basically, Myron reached out to me. He is half of Fresh and Fit. I think he's fresh, but I don't think he's fresh. I think his name is Fresh on the podcast. But he reached out to me and wanted to do a podcast, or wanted me to collaborate with him for his show. At the time, I don't know what his following is now, but he had like 10,000 followers on Instagram. I have had at that time around like 42,000, 40,000, something like that. And so I didn't respond to the DM, to be honest. Then one of my friends, who I'm going to leave anonymous right now, just because I haven't discussed with him whether or not I can share his identity, told me, hey, one of my boys reached out to you, wants to film some content with you. He has a really popular channel, so you should do it. So I actually responded to the DM and I was like, hey, what's up? He said, let's do a collab. I was like, okay, cool. I was actually planning a trip to Miami, so I told him, like, this is what I'm going to be in Miami. I wasn't going to pay to come out to be on his show, and I hadn't even looked into his show. I just kind of went off of the friend's recommendation.
Okay, so I'm not going to play too much of that. I will go ahead and definitely link her video in the description box down below if you guys are tuning into this on YouTube, in case y'all want to see the full thing. Long story short, this video is about 12 minutes long, but long story short, as she said, Myron reached out to her for a collab, for her to jump on, Fresh and Fit podcast. They were exchanging DMs, on Instagram, and it eventually got to the point to where I'll actually read it. There was some scheduling issues, and I don't think Anna was able to make it on their show a specific week because Myron was going to be out of town. I think he was going to Vegas or anything like that. But one thing that she said stuck out to her was how Myron asked her if she was dating anyone. And it's like, really in my head, I'm thinking, okay, well, what does that have to do with us doing a collab? But, he asked her if she was dating anyone. And her response in the DM, I'm actually reading it right now. She said, I'm so sorry. The message actually didn't load until just now for some reason. I am single. I'm actually not dating anyone either right now. I dated someone for a couple months last year. And before that, I was single for about 2 years. But I love the topic. So she's thinking she was going to go on the show and speak about relationships. And that was something she said she enjoyed speaking on and would love to talk about. Now, more DMs were sent back and forth. And excuse me, Myron, let me see if I can pull this up here accurately, said, all right, cool. I'm upfront that I'm not going to do anything platonic with you, just being honest. Now, Anna's like, pretty much, what does that mean? Like, what are you kind of trying to get at right now? Now, anybody who can put two and two together in this situation might know what's about to happen, but, of course, she's trying to be professional because she's thinking that, okay, this gentleman's inviting me onto his podcast. It's probably not anything serious other than, us being cordial, us being platonic, us being professional, whatever. She responds, I'm confused. I'm not trying to do anything with you except collab. Myron messaged back and said, no problem. I collab directly with girls I date. No pressure, though. Anna's response, so if we weren't dating, you don't want to collab? Myron says, no. Don't mean to be an asshole, but we have plenty of women in Miami. So she says, well, same. LOL, we have plenty of men here in California, so why would I fly out to Miami to date one who I know nothing about? Myron's response, simple. Attractive women are common. High-value men are not. All while reading this DM, I see, of course, later on, eventually, Anna blocked Myron on Instagram. So it says in the DM, you have blocked this account. But my mind is just blown, man. Like I said, I've been following Fresh and Fit for months, and I even kind of put you onto them. Yeah. And just to kind of find out that all of this stuff has been going on behind the scenes that nobody knew about until Abba and Preach called them out and exposed them on it. And now this young lady here, Anna, is calling them out and exposing them for it. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, as far as the DM specifically, to me that was very unprofessional. It seems like to me he already had a separate agenda coming into it. So to me personally, that was just something that was just uncalled for. If you're asking somebody to come out for an interview or come out to be a guest on our show, let's leave it at that. Anything extra that can be talked about offhand and let that be separate from the show. But to me, he seemed to tie two and two together, and that's a problem. And that shouldn't have. The whole conversation honestly shouldn't have been taking place, in my opinion. But just for some of the things that he said, it just to me it was very unprofessional, and it was just uncalled for, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, and this, I would say the same thing. Definitely uncalled for. Like, I would never, just to get, I don't care how poppin' we are, you know what I'm saying? How big our platform gets. I would never try to just sleep with a woman just to get her on our platform.
Right.
Man, I've never been about that life. And the crazy thing about it is, Myron is, I think he's like 30 or 31 years old. Mm-hmm. So he's not that far from the both of us.
Right.
He's a little older than you, but a little younger than me.
Right.
So, I mean, I've never acted that way when I was 31 or 30 at that. Like, dog. Even to have women collab on my YouTube show, like when I do Motivating Mondays, I've never just been like, yo, in order for you to get on my show and get your name out there, you know what I'm saying? You got to do something strange for a piece of change, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's pretty much what he was saying. Like, it's just like that's very. He had a whole agenda already set up prior to that, prior to her even getting on the show. It was like, hey, look, this is you want to get on here? I got something for you instead to come through it. It just didn't make sense.
Not at all, man. And I mean, Myron didn't deny it. Like he didn't deny any of it. He actually said on an episode of their podcast, he was telling everybody, he was telling all the viewers about what was going on with this specific DM with Anna. Mm-hmm. And he actually name dropped her a little later in the episode, and he put her Instagram name in the episode so that people can, go and holler at her if they needed to or if they wanted to.
Shouldn't have did that.
Nah, not at all, man. Pretty much just put a target on her back.
Yeah.
To the point to where so many of Fresh and Fit's followers were just constantly DMing Anna and harassing her. And I mean, even in her video, like her 12-minute video, she has numerous receipts of like dudes just hitting her up and bashing her in the name of Fresh and Fit. And it's like, yo, is that what y'all dudes are really doing?
I guess that makes sense. Why she said in her video, you know, the kind of, I guess, culture that of men that they're kind of creating, or community of men that they're creating from their page and everything. I guess that makes sense of why she said that as well.
Right. And when I started following them, man, like I had no idea that they were operating like that. I had no idea that, you know, they were even about that. You know what I'm saying? Like their message to me was pretty much, you know, that of men improving themselves and, you know, going out there, you know, getting on your grind, working on your physical, you know what I'm saying? Like staying in the gym, getting your body right, and then, you know, getting your money up, not focusing on women. But I mean, of course, if you wanted to have your time with women, you could do that, you know, if you wanted to talk to a woman or date. But the main message that I got from them was to not really focus on dating or focusing on anything sexual with a woman until you've gotten in your bag. You know what I'm saying? Until you have developed yourself as a man. You know, you had that money about you, you had that swagger about you, you had your priorities straight. And I kind of agree with that, man.
Right.
I definitely think that young men out there, and this is something I wish somebody would have told me when I was in my 20s or even before I approached my 20s. I think that young men should definitely focus on themselves more and not worry about women, not worry about getting in relationships with women, because your 20s should always be just about you. It should be about you finding yourself. I know a lot of people think that going to college, you know, you find yourself in college if you haven't quite found yourself in high school. But, you know, you find who you truly are in college, and you do that in, like, you know, your late teens, early 20s. And maybe after that, if you decide to pursue higher education, such as grad school, you continue to find yourself. But, man, like, I wish back then I had stayed in the gym constantly and I had focused on making my money and building myself up and stuff like that, and not focusing so much on relationships.
Right.
Because, dog, like I sat back and did some math not too long ago.
What was math, B?
The math was me adding up all the relationships I had in my 20s. Now, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out here messing with every single woman. Right? I've had 4 serious relationships in my entire life. 3 of those 4 were spent in my 20s. 3 of those 4. Just thinking about it now, man, I spent too much time in my 20s just focused on women and not myself.
I can feel that.
7 years of my 20s were spent in relationships. And that means I gave myself 3 years in my 20s to focus on me.
Interesting.
Now, when you put it in that perspective, it's just like, yo.
It does. It makes sense. I'm torn between both sides. Like, I totally agree with you as far as you should focus on yourself and learn who you are, especially in your 20s, because that's when you have a lot of time. You don't have as much responsibilities. You don't really have a family. Some people got families, but
right.
It's just you don't have as much that you have to tend to, and you have more time to yourself, and that you have to learn who you are before you trying to go out and take on somebody else and trying to become one with somebody. But
correct.
I also think that would you say going through some of those relationships and even some of the heartbreaks and ups and downs, kind of you learn what it is you didn't want, or you learn how to bounce back? Or would you say like you learn from those things in order to make you who you are today? Would you say that?
You know what? Putting it in that perspective, yes, I can say that. You know, they definitely helped shape me into the man that I am today. Because I'm sure you know definitely of one of the major heartbreaks that I had in my 20s. You actually went to college with her. And it's crazy because that relationship definitely shaped my mind regarding any relationship that I have moving forward, right? So much so that the young lady I was dating after that catastrophe pretty much had to put up with me having a guard up. I didn't quite fully heal myself after that, you know, trauma that I had suffered in that last relationship. And, you know, we speak to this day. Not the young lady you went to college with, but the last woman that I dated. We still speak to this day. And we both understand that we both have some traumatic experiences in past relationships that have had a toll on our relationship, our 3.5-year relationship. And we're just taking our time apart now to heal. Do stuff that we've never really focused on doing. So, yeah, I would say definitely that a lot of those relationships that I've had in my 20s have shaped me into becoming the man that I am today and making me realize that I need to focus strictly on myself and not focus on women and, chasing after a woman because I need to be walking in my purpose.
Right.
Before I decide to pursue any woman, for marriage or to have a family with or anything. I mean, marriage is definitely the end goal for me. I would love to have a wife and have kids.
That's real.
Yeah.
I do agree with you on that. And just to kind of, I guess, piggyback on that, for me, it was more so, it was kind of weird because for me, before I got married, I went through like a heartbreak situation, was with somebody and thought that was it for me. But I put so much worth into that person and into that relationship that it was like, if I didn't have that person, I felt like I wasn't worth anything. I didn't see worth into myself.
Right.
And that was bad. That was bad. So I think that in the end, when that went down the drain, that taught me that I needed to get to know myself. And it was ironic that 3 years was the time frame. 3 years was the time frame that I went through of just being by myself, like not really dating, not trying to really pursue anybody else, but really just figuring out who I was,
right?
Like who God really created me to be, finding out my purpose and my gift. And when I got so confident in that it was just like, okay, cool. If I'm with somebody, I'm with somebody. If I'm not, that's cool too. Like I still have purpose. I still can go out and do something great. It's not tied to me just being in a relationship and having someone just so I can say, oh man, look at this person right here. Like, let's take pictures on the Instagram. Like, and that was like, literally, that was the big thing to me. That was like, if I was in a relationship, man, I'm good. Life is good.
Right.
It's so much more to that. So figure out who you are first. I think that's the biggest thing. Find out who you are. Get financially stable if you can. Really get secure and confident in yourself. Because one thing too, I can say, is going through those past relationships, it did make me, like, I went through so much hurt that sometimes you get like PTSD almost, because I think that's where that guard comes from. Is like, man, you remind yourself of things that the past person did, and then you end up, when you get in another relationship, you end up putting that on that other person and thinking man, this person might do this to me.
Correct.
And it's stuff that you just fear, and it's not even real, but it's just because you went through it. That's a hard thing. So it's a very intricate thing to go through, and a balance that you gotta find your way through, man.
Yo, who you telling, man?
Dude, man, it's like you learn something. But we hard headed as men, bro.
Yeah,
we hard headed. Come on now, like
I'm not gonna argue with you on that. There, we are hard headed.
We hard headed.
I'm a stubborn individual, and I know that I've been stubborn, and I can still be stubborn. I'm working on being delivered from that. I don't want to be hard headed. I don't want to be stubborn. Like I said, the end goal is to get married and have kids. I mean,
yeah,
you've already found your wife, right? I haven't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have an idea in mind, but only God knows who I'm gonna marry.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna get married at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, only God knows. But yeah, we're hard headed. We're hard headed. I can't lie.
So we can't tell the young men, like, look, in your 20s, focus on you.
Always.
But sometimes you're going to be hard-headed, and you still going to try to go out there and find somebody. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I would say the biggest thing is to learn from your mistakes. Learn from the failures. Learn from stuff that you're hearing right now. Take this, literally take it with you. Put it in your mind. Use it when it's constructively, like when you need it, and take it and keep it in your pocket. Just bring it out. Hey, I remember they said that.
Yeah.
Let me use this, and hopefully, man, steer you in the right direction.
Because if you don't learn from your own mistakes, definitely learn from somebody else's, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with learning from somebody else's.
What?
For example, The situation with Lamelo Ball and Anna Montana.
Man.
Have you heard about that?
Yes, I have heard about that one.
Yo, and to me, it's just like, have you not learned anything from your teammate, PJ Washington, and what he's going through with Brittany Renner?
Yeah. That was a very interesting one. They live a different life though, too, as NBA players. I don't have much experience as an NBA player.
No, I don't either.
But got experience in the dating life.
But still, like, okay, so what's being said is that in the situation with Brittany Renner and PJ Washington, so many people are talking about how Brittany Renner was grooming PJ Washington since he was a teenager. Like, she would go to his college games at Kentucky, and he was like 18, 19 years old, and she was maybe 25, 26, 27-ish. Like, right now, she's 29, about to be 30, and I think he just turned 22. So there's about a 7-year age gap with the two of them. And she just had his baby. And they're not together anymore. So
Were they married?
I don't know. Some sources are saying that they were married. Others were saying that they weren't. But a video has resurfaced on the internet that Brittany Renner recorded years ago. I don't want to play it here, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard it. But pretty much she said to ladies, if you want to come up off a check, smash an athlete. She said they're very dumb and they don't use rubbers.
Interesting.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what was said. She said if you want to come up off a check, smash an athlete, they're really dumb. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. She got with an athlete, got pregnant by an athlete, and had his kid, and now he's forced to pay all that money in child support for years to come.
Yeah, 18 years exact.
Minimum. She really came up off a check, and she spoke those words into existence. Now, because of that, people are saying the same thing is going on, potentially, allegedly, between Anna Montana, who is 32 years old. Yes, she is my age. And 19-year-old Lamelo Ball, who also plays on the Charlotte Hornets with PJ Washington. And my thoughts on that are, what does a 32-year-old have in common with a 19-year-old? Because like I said, Anna Montana is my age. I wouldn't be caught dead trying to holler at a 19-year-old girl. And even if I was, we know everybody and their mama would be in arms. Everybody would be in an uproar.
Yeah.
About how I'm going after a 19-year-old woman. Why isn't the same thing happening in this situation?
Well, I mean, like I said, first and foremost, these are NBA players too that have been in the spotlight. They do take a different route in life as far as like just the way they live it. Speaking on LaMelo Ball, I mean he's been overseas, he's been around the world, he's been groomed to be in this position, and he's been under the spotlight for a very long time since he's been in high school. I've seen a video of him signing autographs in high school, but I mean, you know, I don't know now the age difference. Yes, it does not make sense.
Right.
But who's to say that he hasn't been matured because of how the way he's been groomed to, you know, be in this position? Because, I mean, he's in the NBA. I mean, you have people that are your age now still trying to get into the NBA that dream to be in that position, and he's there.
Yeah.
So I do feel like maybe it's been some fast track of maturity on his end, possibly. Who knows?
Who knows?
I still think that is a very, very huge age gap, and I'm trying to put myself in that position as a 19-year-old dating a 32-year-old. I don't think my mind could have been wrapped around.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. When I was 19, I remember I told you a story a couple days ago. I was 18 dating a 20-year-old woman, and my mind was just blown. You know what I'm saying?
Like, for real.
Like, I enjoyed that. I was like, yo, I got me an older woman, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was the man. So, I mean, just imagine like a 19-year-old man, you know, like, and what's going through his mind dating a 32-year-old woman.
Right. And it's to me, it's like being at that age, it's just, I'm just trying to think of like the conversations that are being had. Like, you at 19 years old, it's just some things you just don't know. Like, it's just experience teaches you things that you have to go through life to be able to even talk about and hold conversations on that, you know, as a 32-year-old person, you're just way more experienced in different things that it's just, the maturity level is so different.
So different.
That one, I don't know. That one's a little different for me to understand. I don't really know. I want to believe that, maybe my man's matured. He got something that, she was just looking for, I don't know.
Well, one person who has some sort of insight on the situation is Melo's dad, LeVar Ball. And according to Black Sports Online, here's what LeVar said about getting involved with these older IG models and the advice he gave to his son, Lamelo. He said, if you're in this profession, you got all this fame and notoriety. How are you going to meet a good girl? You're not. So I hate to tell you, but you're going to meet, for lack of better words, a garden tool, right? You're going to meet a garden tool.
Well said.
Just how it goes, son. So, son, that's the bad part of life you're going to get. You're never going to meet a good woman. You got to wonder why she's by herself at 30. So there's something dangerous no matter how good they look. But have a good time, son. I feel bad for you. But hey, I love the fact that you made it. So just reading that and kind of like listening to what it is that LeVar said to his son, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what are your thoughts on the advice? Talking about how, like, you know, being in the position that LaMelo's in, being in the NBA, you're not going to meet a good girl at this point in his life.
I do agree with that to an extent. I do think, as you know, when you reach that level of success and height, when you, especially, you know, being an NBA player, you receive like a bunch of money at this one time, and now you have put yourself in a whole nother tax bracket. People look at you different, and you don't really know how sincere people are being versus when you start at the bottom. You know, you can kind of tell, okay, this person actually cares for me because of who I am. You're getting to know that person versus now if you got all these people coming to you and you don't really know how sincere they're being or true they're being because you got a dollar sign attached to you. They know what you got, especially if it's plastered all on TV. I think he just won the Rookie of the Year as well. So he's definitely supposed to have the notoriety that is, you know, it's different. Do I think that is impossible? No.
Right.
I don't think it's impossible. I don't think nothing's impossible, but I do think that being in his position, it is maybe unlike. I don't even want to say unlikely, but it's a very intricate situation that
Good choice of words.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's just hard. I don't know. You know, I'm not an NBA player, so I can't truly give my full like perspective on that and how that is. I just know that, you know, you probably do have a lot of women coming after you for many different reasons.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm not an NBA player either, but I'm sure that that's, you know, the case. I mean, you have a sense of celebrity. You have a sense of celebrity status and notoriety, and you know, like you said, you have a dollar sign attached to you now. You know, you've made it. Yeah. And people know that you've made it.
Yeah, they do.
It's like when somebody who's ordinary wins the lotto out of nowhere. Hey, cousin.
You remember me?
You remember me?
I know, man.
Like, no, I don't. I don't remember you. I don't know you. Cousin where? Whose side? Which aunt? Which
you remember
uncle?
I brought you that lunch that one time?
That one time?
Come on, man.
When I was 3?
Come on, player.
Oh, man. See, that's one thing I've kind of never really cared for, like, growing up, fame, right? I never really cared too much for fame.
Right.
Money was always nice, but the way I thought about money is what I can do with it. Not even what I can do with it for myself, but how I can use it to not only benefit my life, but benefit the lives of others around me.
Right.
Living in Atlanta for as long as I have, I can't help but notice every time I go to like Piedmont Park or every time I go to the Beltline, Ponce City Market, Little Five Points, I always see homeless people just lying down on the streets. Like they have nowhere to go, nowhere to stay, no shelter. Like they're always begging. Like I can always count on every time I go to Little Five Points and I'm riding down John Lewis Freedom Parkway, there's always a number of homeless people begging for money at a stoplight down there. And it's crazy to me, man. Those are the type of people I want to help.
Yeah.
You know, and not even just the homeless, but my main goal is to help the youth. You know, you and I have definitely talked about that.
Yes, sir.
You know, I would love to continue to partner and use whatever comes of this podcast, whatever comes of, you know, all the blessings that are going to come to us to just help people.
Yes, sir.
You know, that type of impact is something serious. And I can't wait to impact those people's lives because they need it.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to see people laying down on the street. I don't, you know, who knows what type of situation got them to that point. Maybe they were down on luck. Maybe, you know, their homes burnt down and they didn't have any type of insurance to cover it. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. There could be a ton of different scenarios to go with that. But
exactly.
Those people could be the most productive members of society if somebody ever gave them a chance to do so.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to shake the table on that one. I'm pretty passionate about the topic. But, you know, if somebody gave them a chance to really be productive members of society, they could be probably the most amazing people on this planet.
Right.
But they're just down on their luck and they never got a second shot at life.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, being in the NBA, having that sense of celebrity, or like just being known to have all this money, I mean, it just puts a target on your back. And I'm not saying that that's the type of situation that Lamelo Ball is in with Anna Montana right now, but it's definitely got the people talking.
We gonna be positive and say they're there for love.
Yeah, and I don't mean to laugh at that, but yeah, let's
for real.
Let's be positive on that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
They could be there for love.
I just hope it is not going to be another PJ Washington and Brittany Renner situation.
And I do agree with you on that. I do agree. I'd seen I think a post. I don't know if that was him or not, but he's just saying, you know, he just wanted to see his son.
Yeah, that was him.
I never want to see that for nobody, man.
Right.
That's, come on now. Especially if if it has to be on social media as well. Like some stuff, come on now. If you can't handle it even off of, you know, off the camera, off social media, it literally got to be something going on, you know, off the scenes that you got to be on social media saying, yo, I just want to see my son.
Right.
And I don't want to see that for nobody.
So
prayers up to that brother, man. For real, man. Salute to you, man. I hope that everything works out for you.
Most definitely.
Seriously.
You know, prayers to PJ Washington, and like I said, hopefully the situation with LaMelo Ball and Anna Montana is genuine and it is for love, and she's not really focused on the fact that he is a celebrity and that he has money and that she's just with him for that, because nobody wants to be put through that. Nobody just wants to be used for their resources.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, man, we've definitely touched on quite a few different points today, and you know, I want to say, pretty much as a final message from my end, to all the gentlemen who are listening to this, no matter your age, you know, whether you're still a teenager in high school, or you're a young 20-something in college, or, you know, you're in your late 20s or early 30s, even 40s, you know, there is no time like the present. And no matter what, keep focusing on you. Keep building yourself. Keep working on ways to elevate. You know, try not to stay stagnant. Don't worry about everything that's going on around you, because you can only control what you can control. So, you know, focus on yourself, build yourself. You know, of course, if you have a family, you know, of course, focus on them as well. But as a man, Our job is to provide and protect, and we have to make sure that we are the best versions of ourselves in order to do that. You know, me personally, I don't think that I can protect any family if I can't really protect myself or handle myself in a manner that I should be able to handle the family, if that makes sense. I'm probably just rambling at this point, but just my main point is just to focus on yourself and build yourself if you don't have anybody else to really worry about right now, right? Focus on you.
Man, I mean, first and foremost, that was good. Hey, man, hand clap for that, for real. Like, that was really dope.
Appreciate it.
If I had any closing remarks to say, I would just say, know that you have worth in you. Don't ever let anyone or any situation, don't let even yourself tell you that you're not worth anything or you don't have anything to give, because you do. There is something inside of you that you can truly give out to the world. And it can be like literally the smallest thing or the most simplest thing. But guess what? It has to come from you. Right. And then once you give it, I guarantee you there's somebody there's there to receive it. So don't withhold it. Give it out. It is important. I think that's one of the reasons that we're here right now. Is because, you know, we can just, maybe it may be meant for you to hear that message right there. Who knows? Something simple as that can go impact and be residual and come back to you.
Bars.
Come on now, I had to get that little plug in there.
There you go.
Had to, man.
When's that mixtape dropping?
Man, February of next year, 2000. I'm just kidding. I ain't got no mixtape dropping, y'all. Let me not even do that.
You a SoundCloud rapper now?
Yeah, man, something like that on the weekends.
On the weekends.
But some closing remarks. So I do want to say we do have a promotion opportunity for anyone out there that is looking to promote a product, service, or
a brand, even yourself.
Anything.
Maybe
art. It could be anything that you want to promote and use this platform as a promotion tool. We are looking for any type of I don't want to say. Well, I guess you could say just anything that you would like to promote, and basically we would just charge a small fee, and basically as we grow, it's gonna grow as well. But right now, we just want to give people the opportunity to put yourself out there. I think it's important to give people an opportunity, just like how we've been given an opportunity as well. So if this is something that you would be interested in, and you have something that you want to get out there to the world, please DM us or email us at residualimpactpodcast@gmail.com. And or is there any other way they can get in touch with us, B?
No. I mean, email is great. residualimpactpodcast@gmail.com, or like he said, you can DM us on Instagram, Residual Impact Podcast. And we would love to hear from you. We would love your feedback. If you do DM us and we're not following you, or you're not really following us, chances are your message might end up in a different folder. Y'all know how Instagram is sometimes. So please just keep that in mind. You know, we'll get back to you as quickly as we possibly can. And we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to collaborating with you. This is going to be an amazing journey for all of us. And we can't wait to see you there.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Most definitely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is our first episode ever.
Number one.
Very first episode ever. And what would you say if I wasn't recording any of this? Like if I told you that I accidentally did not record any bit of the podcast today?
I would cry. But I wouldn't give up, and I would be like, yo, let's just do it again. But I would be really sad in the inside.
Hey, well, at least you're honest, man. Because I thought about that a couple times throughout the podcast. I kept looking. I'm like, am I recording? Are we really recording? I'm not gonna lie to you.
That did cross my mind as well. Like, yo, what if I accidentally hit stopped or something? And man. But I think we're passionate about this enough to like keep going. So
of course,
it's cool.
It's great conversation, whether we're recording or not.
Yeah. But that would have been tough to try to do this all again. That would have been tough.
Oh, man. Yo, it would have been tough, but we would have gotten the job done.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We are the Residual Impact Podcast.
Yes, sir.
And we are going to make it happen no matter what.
Yes, sir.
So please, tune in next Tuesday for our next episode. We're going to have a great one lined up for you. I'm not going to tell you what's going on yet, but we definitely plan on touching on some major topics, man. let us know your feedback. Let us know what you thought about episode 1.
Yeah.
And, feel free to tune in to our YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
Residual Impact Podcast. Just go ahead and type that into YouTube. What's up?
I say yes, sir, and I just want to say yes, ma'am, as well. For my
This
ladies.
guy.
I like to be correct, politically correct.
You stupid.
Thank you.
Yeah, most definitely. You can find us on YouTube. Look at a lot of the clips that we upload to YouTube on a regular basis. And, just check us out. Follow us on Instagram, Residual Impact Podcast. And, if you don't have anything else to say.
That's it. Oh, check out our bloopers, too, because we mess up a lot. So we don't want to pretend like we get this right all the time.
Yeah, this
so
is definitely.
We definitely going to be posting them bloopers, y'all.
We have,
I promise y'all, them joints is funny.
We have a blooper video up on YouTube right now, and I'm sure we're going to have another one coming very soon because every time we get together, every time we record, we always...
That's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even intentional. It just happens.
No. So, but yeah, that was it. I did have one more thing, but I just forgot it. But it'll come back to me later, maybe on another episode. But it's
cool. It will.
But I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, man. Most definitely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And just remember, the money will come, but purpose is forever. So find your purpose and make such a positive impact on others that you'll leave an undeniable mark on this earth.
Wow.
Till next time, y'all. Peace.
Love you, Mom.
Check out my mixtape. Coming soon.
You just had to throw it in there.